Hello there. Many of you have been tuning into our conversations for some time, and now we'd like the chance to get to tune into you. We invite you to record a voice message letting us know what's on your mind and send it to us at info@insightmyanmar.org. We will keep all communication confidential unless, of course, you give us your permission to share it, which we will happily do on a future podcast episode. But for now, let's listen to the discussion that follows.
My connection to Myanmar was not all that lengthy. I spent 3 months working there in 2017
Mhm.
for one of the UN agencies on like a secondment. And I had a couple of weeks at the end where my now wife came over and we traveled a little bit as well. And in that time, uh, we both grew to love the country. And I
Mhm.
lived in Yangon and really enjoyed it. People were lovely. I speak I know Burmese, but people always went out of their way to make you feel welcome and help you in things. And just that in itself was lovely. But also I was there working on the atrocities happening with the Rohingya people, um, and it just was became apparent. I immersed myself in my work time, in the complex situation that Myanmar is, and just became fascinated, interested, horrified by all the things going on. Um, I returned to Australia, mid 20, what was it, March 2017, and the Rohingya crisis escalated, as we know. And then the coup happened and everything else. And I stayed somewhat in touch with, not in touch, sorry, um, up to date with affairs that were happening in Myanmar. But it is pretty apparent that in particular Western nations, there's not a huge amount in the media about it. When the coup happened, there might have been some attention for a couple of weeks, and then other things happen and take the media attention away. And Joe, I found that your podcast was one of the things that one of the bits of information, one of the places I could get information. So I just listened on and off. I won't say I listened to every episode, but when Little Activist episode came up, it really was it's heartbreaking to hear not only yourself, Little Activist, but a generation who is being impacted so negatively by what's happening at the moment and continues to happen. And I've always, I mean, since my time working there, I've always tried to, donate money where I could. UNHCR it was a starting point for me in terms of an ongoing donation. But this really, when you had said, Joa, at the end of a certain episodes, you said about donating to particular individuals. I couldn't go past your interview, Little Activist, and just the importance of getting information out there. My role when I was in Myanmar was around information management. So just the importance of information and how little there was in certain aspects of the UN's response. I really did feel like just an importance to the sort of work that you're doing, and you're not only doing this important work but risking your life doing it. And so what better way to, like, this is as grassroots as it gets, I think, in terms of putting your money where your mouth is, I think.
I find it really interesting that you come from information services in United Nations. You have familiarity in work and in conflict in Myanmar. It's something you've been trying to follow in any number of ways. So you're not a newbie to this crisis or to the individuals and the actors that are involved in various ways. And so, of all this information you absorbed, of all the different people you've heard from, when you heard Little Activist interview, there was something in it that must have just struck you a different way. And you've described that a little bit in general ways and how you just explained. But I wonder if you can go into a bit more detail just about what was it in particular about this interview that just tugged at you in ways that went above and beyond your engagement otherwise.
I guess I'll start off by saying I'm certainly not all that well versed in the Myanmar situation before I went. This is the and only time I've ever worked for the UN. It was like a 3 month secondment through an emergency response register I became a part of here in Australia. And I landed this job. It was it was only ever going to be a 3 month contract due to personal reasons. I came home and got married. So it was only a finite amount of time I was there. So I certainly won't um, claim to be well versed in it. But in the Myanmar situation, but what I did do is I felt like I really had the time there to immerse myself, do lots of reading, understand this fascinating country, some of the history, some of the current or then current situation. This is pre the August 2017 Rohingya crisis, but it was still obviously it's been an ongoing, prolonged situation for a long time. It really, for me, I was just sort of fascinated by it. And up until the coup, I was still sort of trying to keep somewhat in touch with some of my workmates and um, when I was there. But yeah, life goes on, and I started working back in Australia. Um, and I guess in that, yeah, trying to keep in touch, trying to keep abreast of what was going on in Myanmar did sort of remain something important to me. I felt, um, and yeah, your podcast, like I said, was one of the things that. One of the places to come and get like grassroots type information that you don't get through normal or mainstream media sources. To go to your question of the interview with Little Activist, I think just how raw it all was, understanding, you'll hear it. I took up running when I was in Yangon because I like riding bikes and I couldn't ride my bike there. So I took up running. And you're running around the streets and you're running in these streets. It was a relatively safe, peaceful place at that stage. For me as a Westerner, I recognize that I, come from a privileged position, but seeing very familiar looking streets and then now violent places and, all of that backstory and then hearing something like Little Activist situation of just purely trying to do his job and, or not even do his job, giving up his student situation and potentially opportunities for the future. It's impacting his future. I can't imagine how hard those decisions must be to make, and I really couldn't stop thinking about it for a little while. And I thought, why would I not? How could I um, not give some money to someone who's clearly going to appreciate it? Yeah, I guess that's really what it came down to for me. It's in your mind, and you feel like you're doing. To me, I think it was. I felt like if I could do some little thing for one person, why would I not?
Thank you for that. And I want to turn to Little Activist now and ask you, you've been doing all this work not for personal attention, obviously, you're putting yourself at risk to do so, but to want to work towards the betterment of your country by creating this engagement and information regionally and internationally. And you come on our platform, you talk, you tell your story. That's it. That's what most podcast guests do. You then go back to your work. And suddenly, out of the blue, you then learn sometime later that some listener has decided to step up and support you and make your life just a little easier in terms of the stress and the tension that you're under. And then beyond that has gone to commit to a monthly donation. And now, just in the last few minutes, you've heard something about his volition and wanting to support, as well as just his reaction and hearing that interview. So I just want to check in with you, little activist, about what this whole experience has been for you and what you're feeling now.
At first, nice to meet you, Ben, brother. Thank you very
Likewise.
much. Yes, yes, yeah. Thank you very much for your donation. It was months ago, and the Insight Myanmar contact me. Brother, there was a donor from Australia who was just listening your podcast, and he just liked your activity, and that's why he just take a donation to me. So at first, I was like, oh, really? Because it is first time in my life, and I did not expect that kind of things because I just do this revolutionary movement for my um own vision and mission because I was being a Burmese Myanmar nation. So I think I need to be part of this revolution. And as you share, as I said before, the international community, especially United Nations like that, are very very useless till now, and you guys will get the update information in Rakhine State, right? Do you get the information from Rakhine State?
Very little, to be honest, through the media in Australia. But
Okay, okay. So I will share through this and this podcast. Actually, there is happening a big civil war in Rakhine State. It is the west part of the Myanmar, and it is almost all Rakhine regions uh, taken by possessed by Arakan Army AA. Yeah. Now the military hunter got very very angry about this condition because almost all Rakhine State maybe separate within 6 months or a year. I think so. So after that, the upper part of the Myanmar, like Shan region, Sakai region, and Magui region, also getting involved in civil war. So the Myanmar's condition is changing from peaceful protests to very dangerous civil war, and the condition in Myanmar is getting worse day by day, and you will know that information. Um, I also keep in touch with my families, my mom, and she told me that the electricity is not okay at the time. Only around 3 to 4 hours a day can get electricity. In 24 hours, only 4 to 5 hours can get electricity. Even if my family is living in Rangoon, yeah, not even in um other area. It is older former capital of Myanmar, but we cannot get my family cannot get the electricity enough. And the most important thing of the country is now business and economic. The daily income, the basic income of a Myanmar person is around 3,000 Myanmar kyat. It is almost 3,000 Myanmar kyat, but the inflation rate is so high, the outcome, the money we use is need more and more, and that's why everyone in Myanmar, I mean, every basics people in Myanmar keep solving with the problem of economic and how to eat daily. So this is what military hunter desire, because if the nationals focus on how to eat, how to survive, they are happy because they just want to destroy the people, destroy the country, destroy the future of the youth students and like that. And a good news is there were many civil wars in Rakhine or Sakai Makwi Shan region like that. So okay. So for your donation, I feel like it was a blessing, and I feel thank you again and again. Um, Actually, I want to go to the PDF, but as some condition, I cannot go through because of my mother worry about this condition too much, and my mother had a heart attack. So as a personal matter, I cannot go to the PDF. So I just choose a way how to express our country's condition to the outside of the world, to the international. So I just try everything on like Facebook, because Facebook is number one social media in our country, Myanmar. But in Facebook, it is very dangerous to express a condition, a situation, because in Myanmar there is we cannot use Facebook without VPN. So that VPN is also operated by China. So everything is under control of the military. So I just choose a platform, and this is Telegram, and then we just found Twitter. Actually, Twitter is not famous in Myanmar, and we just use our revolutionary community just use that in 2021 after the coup. Uh, I think the time I just writing everything about Myanmar, every protest, every conflict, and the war crimes and crimes against humanities committed by the military junta to the outside of the world through Twitter like that. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, little activist. And so you're engaged in this mission, and like so many other people, I mean, the coup has just thrown you into a different world. You're, for listeners that recall your episode, you're a student at university. You're pursuing your education and career opportunities, and then as a student, as so many others, you have to decide if you're going to remain in school and kind of implicitly accept the military takeover, or if you're going to risk your educational and career future by being able to by stepping outside of that realm and resisting, which is what you've done, and you've put your safety and your career and your education at risk in order to do what you can to try to help your country regain its freedom. And definitely we encourage listeners to go back and hear that original interview. And so, I'm also curious, beyond the material support, which I know is so helpful, what can you say about just the feeling that you have of knowing that someone you've never met before, just a very different place in a very different time, has heard your interview and has chosen to want to do something to support you, to take that step? What can you describe about just what that feeling has been like?
Yes. It is very hard to express in one word, but I would like to express is like thankful or destiny because I didn't know Mr. Ben, and Mr. Ben will not know me as in person, and that he will not know my real name. He just know me as a little activist who just expressing the Myanmar's condition to the outside of the world. So maybe as a Buddhism, I'm a Buddhist. I'm a Buddhism. So I believe in destiny. Maybe Ben and me had a relation in one of our past life maybe. And that's why inside memory just in touch with me for a podcast last time, and then Ben just got that podcast and he just went to make connection with me. So I think it was like destiny.
Little activist, I had so many people that the little time that I did live in Yangon and elsewhere through Myanmar when I did do some travel as well, um, people were always kind. People, as an example, someone at a restaurant I used to go to regularly when I near the office I worked at, um, offered to take me to Shwedagon Pagoda, and just as a nice gesture, it was just a nice gesture. Regularly there would be things like that that would come up that just I think kindness amongst people is what hopefully the world should have more of it. So yeah, absolutely, you're most welcome, and I'm sure in the same situation you would do the same thing for someone.
Yes, actually, honestly, it is more than a donation, and it was like sending some loves and some strength and some solidarity to me and to us, to the community who just trying for our revolutionary movement. I also did some donations to our revolutionary community by your money. Um, I feel very glad till this day, and this morning, the Inside Myanmar team just sent me an email about wire transfer to my bank account. By the way, I was living. I'm living in Thailand now because of the condition in Myanmar, and I cannot live in Yangon no more. That's why. So I just want to say to Ben, thank you again and again, brother. Thank you so much.
It's absolutely my pleasure. And I guess the other thing I need to mention is that my wife also, well, she came over at the end of my time in Myanmar, and we had a few weeks of travel. Um, but ultimately, my wife and my two two boys, yeah, it's not just me that's sort of putting this donation forward, but part of me is always feels will always feel um, sorry for your country and the situation it's in. And I guess my feeling just is if I can do something small for someone who is going to be on the right side of history, going to help in a little way that that you can, or big ways that you can actually, because information coming out, like I said, is important. I mean, really, there's very little in mainstream media in Australia, at least. I can only talk for Australia, but yeah, unless you go looking for it, there's very little in the media. But and really, it is Joe. It's your podcast that I get a lot of information from. So the breadth of guests that you have are it's impressive that you do what you do. So yeah, thank you to both of you for that.
Thank you. And I also
Yeah, my
want
pleasure.
to highlight just some background. When we delivered the first donation to Little Activists, and that was when there was just that donation. It was just one nice gesture of generosity that he had. His immediate response was telling me, wanting to be accountable and saying that I'm going to send this much to these people and this much to these people. I'm going to support this activity because they're having problems here, and I'm going to make sure that you know that it's getting to them and that it's going to be received and they're going to use it. And I said, look, this is your decision to do what you want with, but I want to be clear. The intention, because coming from our background as an organization, we're very concerned with the earmarks. Some people want to give to children, some to monks, some to novices, some to Karen community, some to displaced. And when we get those earmarks, we take them very seriously in terms of with our team. We tell them we got $1,000 and this can only be used to help vulnerable children. So that's whatever you do, just as long as it's going to children at greatest risk, that's the intention of the donor. And so I made clear the intention of the donor, in this case Ben, to Little Activist, and explained that, look, the intention of this donation was to go to you. You could do whatever you want with it, but it's really to make your life easier in some way because you're now at such risk given what you're doing to try to help secure your country's freedom. And so if you want to support these other communities, yes, feel free to, but you don't need to be accountable for it. It's just to want to help you. And as much as I said this, Little Activist response was still very much no. I'm now the recipient of this generosity, and so yes, I will take a little for myself, but I will make sure that these people and these people and these people will also be supported. And so this just goes into this beauty of this generosity. Some people know this generosity index study that was done some years ago. Myanmar was at the top of that list. It surprised most people who had not spent time in Myanmar. Those who had spent time there, it did not surprise. But because of this generosity that we're seeing, so even this donation going towards Little Activist and going to help him, it certainly did not stop there, and was, as you have heard just in his recent discussion of his own thinking. As soon as these funds came, his immediate thought was, "Who needs it more than I do? What communities can I help with it better?" And and him saying to us and to you, "I want to make sure you know that I am also going to be helping these people and these people and these people." So, Little Activist, what I think you also recall this conversation we had some time ago. What was your thinking in wanting those funds to trickle down beyond just yourself and your own needs?
Yes. As I mentioned before, it was like the bank's donation to me was like more than a money a donation, and it was like sending a love, and it was. It is glad to know that there is someone in the world who just supporting your movement like this, because some of my friends in PDFs and some of my friends in jail, insane jail, do you know, insane prison, the notorious place in the world,
Yeah,
and some were killed. So I feel like I was nothing compared to them. I was nothing. So I just I just trying to take part in this revolution as much as I can. And the bank's donation to me was like bro, you are doing right. And it was like, we are here, we the international community didn't forget Myanmar's revolutionary movement like that. And we just know we just got a news from South Korea, and actually, you know that uh, in a few weeks ago in South Korea, the current president just take the military, but just call the military to maintain the country. Yeah, military. It was like a military coup back. I feel happy because of the people of the Korean and the other party of the Korean just stopped the military coup in time within 8 hours maybe. Yeah, I feel like at the time, the most important thing to a revolution. What is that? What is the most important thing? I just know the answer. It was education. It is education. In Myanmar, the education system is very, very, very low, and most of the Myanmar people around the country couldn't get the enough education assistance, update education assistance compared to the world, and that's why most of the people think the revolution is not important and the freedom is not necessary. The freedom to speak, the freedom to go live, and and at last democracy. They didn't feel how the precious the democracy is. But in the last few years, the government by dear Dr. Aung San Suu Kyi show us the feeling the how precious the democracy is. Like that. Actually, I was not interested the crisis in 2017, the Rohingya crisis, because maybe I was very young at the time and I didn't, I have no interest in politics and something like that. But after the conditions happened and after 2021 February, when everything was destroyed, and I just started reading about politics, the history of our country, Myanmar, and then I just got very, very uh, sad information about our country and the Rohingya and other ethnic in our country. Actually, Rakhine and Sakai um has been destroyed by military more than 60 to 70 years ago. And actually, my father is from Rakhine, so I was like Rakhine Burma hybrid. Yeah, my mother is from central of Myanmar, Pakoku, and my father is from Rakhine, so I was like Rakhine Burma hybrid. Um, let me explain to another topic, like for the international community and international country, like the how to think about United Nations action and other country action for the Myanmar's democracy movement, brothers?
It's not enough. It's non-existent in some ways.
Yes, yes, it's not enough. It is not not even 1%, not even 1%. And maybe our country, Myanmar, is a small country. They don't care about, and even if you know Ukraine, they do immediate action, and many support of military going to the Ukraine, and now Ukraine is was like a very good defender to Russia attack, and no one cares about our country, Myanmar. It is very sad, but we have to accept that condition, and we don't care. Actually, we don't care. Our community don't care about the external hubs, but we are happy when the international community knows about our condition and know trying to have our community. Now, within 3 to 4 years, the condition in Myanmar getting worse day by day, and the revolutionary movement changes to a PDF. So I think the Myanmar's condition may be something happened coming 2 years. I think so, because of the civil wars around the country is getting intense day by day. So now almost all areas in Rakhine, yeah, has been possessed by Arakan Army's AA, and also in Shan State, MNDAA. But at the time, I feel a little worried about the China. The Chinese Communist Party always destroying other countries' democracy, and the China's is a main role in Rakhine and Shan region. So I just worry about if the Arakan army just going to the wrong way, and it was like they just trying to establish a new country, not in Myanmar, and it was like an Arakan, a new country to the world. So I just feel worried about that. But I believe I believe our Rakhine people, so they will not do like that. And I hope starting from the Rakhine, coming next to the Sakai, Makui, Shan, and the last is Yangon. It is a little it is a little shade to express, but the condition in Yangon is like normal. There are many people in bar, nightclub, and almost all people think the think the condition in Yangon is very normal. They used to the military hunter, so it was very sad. But the condition it was like um killing day by day. The military hunter is just trying to kill people day by day by economic crisis, the education crisis, and now starting from last few days, around 10 days maybe, youth people around 60, 70 to 30 years old, especially men, has been abducted, arrested, and has been taken hostages in every every region of the country, including Yangon. Also 5 youth people near my family's house has been arrested by the military hunter. So the condition of doing how can I express it? um forcing to go to the military. Yeah, it is a big issue in Myanmar, and the youth people in Myanmar cannot go outside from Myanmar because the passport making is very hard in Myanmar, and also the immigration at the Yangon International Airport is very strict about youth, especially engineer leaders and doctors are very important role in their list. So they just take around 60 to 100 60 to 100 lakh Myanmar checks. It is very much. It is so much money for a normal family in Myanmar, but we have no choice. Parents just make their children uh, move to another country, so they have to pay that amount of money, 60 to 100 lakh Myanmar chat at Yangon International Airport to go to the countries like Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, like that. So the condition is getting worse day by day, and sadly, the international community didn't get that full information. So mm, I was like, how how can I express more information to the international community? But it is beyond out of my limit. Uh,
I guess just to add in to what you're saying, little activist, you're right that there's not much coverage. There's other wars happening across the world, and Myanmar gets very little coverage, which is so sad because um, it's such a wonderful place, and the impact it's having on a generation, on multiple generations of people, it's so sad. Like everything that you've just said is awful. And you're right, the international community is not doing enough or anything. Um, but I guess you said you feel like no one's listening or no one's responding. But I guess people. This is something that, I mean, in one way, it's like I just feel like this is something little I can do. Letting you know that there are people that care. Maybe not the international community. I'm sure there are bigger things that beyond us that we don't understand, but um, it doesn't make it okay. I guess what I want to say is that there are lots of people that do care. It's just what at an individual level, having the opportunity to do something like what Joe through his podcast has enabled is unique, and I think if this conversation can encourage others to do similar, it can only be a good thing.
Yeah, and that's where I would like
yes.
to respond as well, in saying that totally agreed. These big international bodies, international missions, they are not responding the way that we think they should be, that they can be, and they are leaving a trail of death and devastation. And I think some of them have blood on their hands for the business as usual in ways that they're responding. I think we're all agreed on that point. But I think the small exception and small glimmer of hope that we can have with this is that this very conversation is an example of another way to go forward. And I think little activism, through his courage and dedication in the work that he's done and showing up here to talk about that work, and Ben's sense of generosity and connection and standing in solidarity, taking that step, joining us today, is a sign equally of kind of one hand reaching out and another hand taking that. And by virtue of having this platform where we can engage in this conversation publicly, to, I think what's beautiful about this conversation is it's acting on two levels. On one level, it's a relationship of support that is happening, that is existing on an individual level. But on another level, it's being modeled. This connection and generosity and activism and everything that's taking place, it's happening, number one. But number two, it's then being modeled authentically as an example of how little by little in that grassroots, more and more people can choose to do something, whether that something is a donation or taking time to listen to and understand what's happening, or to be involved or help out or engage in some small way. Does that make up for those stakeholders and decision makers and those with some kind of power to do something, standing by and not? No, it doesn't make up for that, but it does stand for something. And I think that what you have both done, and then in taking that step beyond what you've done to showcase it and model it as an example for what others can do, this can have a domino effect, and this can start to trickle in small ways and not so small ways that follow.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Not. Even if the international community and the giants of the international didn't care about our country, but the people of international, like Brother Ben and brother from inside Myanmar, always care about our country's condition and always cheer for our revolution. So it was like the less hope, the less hope from international community. Um, there was like a slogan. I just forget it. Uh, it was about revolution, and I just focused the slogan, but I can explain in another way. It was like, no one is responsibility for your freedom, so you have to move on, you have to try yourself to get freedom, like that. I just forget the original slogan. So I think I think so that the revolution have to be taken by Myanmar people. No other people around the world cannot help deeply, because there is Myanmar's condition, and only Myanmar people, only Burmese can do the things. And but if the international community giants, if they have more deeply and more solidarity to our community, this will be a very easy problem. But I just feel thankful for the ICC. You will get the information. The hunter, military hunter, May Online, just got a notice from the ICC, and the Gambia, maybe yes, the Gambia nations just sued May Online with the crisis of Rohingya in 2017 in Myanmar. So I just feel thankful about the case, and also send off the case in United Nations. Our ambassador represented just showed the war crimes in Sakai and Magui to the world, but at the time, no uh, no immediate action and no strong reflection from the international community haven't arrived. I just feel worried about the people who was killed and who are killing now by the military junta in the middle of the Myanmar country. Uh, Actually, there are many people has been killing day by day in Sakai and Magui, because there was no good internet, and there was no social media in that area. We cannot get enough information from that area. That is very sad and awful. I I just feel, yeah, I was I was worried about, you know May Online can kill everyone in Sakai and Magui. because Sakai and Magui regions are very, very big, and it is one of the biggest regions in Myanmar. So the PDF cannot cover all of the area, and the military hunters, soldiers, the Myanmar military terrorists can kill the normal people, innocent people, day by day as they wish. So I just concerned about the condition and also the airstrikes. Yeah, they just keep using the airstrike and kill many people. So as mathematically, around 10 to 50 people were killed or killing a day in Myanmar. Yes, it is so sad.
And I want to ask you, little activist, I mean, these are just tragic, overwhelming, catastrophic things that you're sharing. And I think that because we're on this topic of small things that matter, of individuals that can show up in small ways or in not so small ways, but also making it manageable, making it not overwhelming. And I think that from some of the things you just shared, there could be some feeling among some members of our audience that, oh my God, this is so terrible. I feel so helpless. It's halfway across the world. What am I to do? How am I to have any role or involvement in stopping airstrikes or mass murder or internet outages? What can I possibly do in this terrible unfolding situation? So, little activist, as someone who is from this region, who's reporting on this region, and who's begging for international attention and support, what would you say for those individuals that are listening, that are not in positions of authority or power, but are just listening with an open heart and feel very sorry to hear this information? What would you say to them of how they can step up or be involved or show care in some kind of way in their capacity?
Yeah, I'm always thankful to the individual who supports our country's democracy movement. Yeah, it is very devastating to show the condition of Myanmar. And according to today topic, I feel thankful to everyone who supports our country's condition, our country's revolutionary movement, like people, uh, brother Ben and the brother from inside Myanmar and some other from other nations from the international community. I always, not only me, also my friends, my family, my our countries from the Myanmar always feel thankful to the people of international. So only one word: thank you so much for supporting our country's condition. And I hope so. This condition could be solved immediately in the future, in the coming future.
You mentioned about modeling before, Joe, modeling what you can do as an individual, and I have to acknowledge the conversation between Theory and Jake. I think it was. It was from a while ago in one of your podcasts. A similar situation where donating to an individual. That was really one of the things that made me think, someone else can do it. Why can't I? So I guess part of my, I was a little bit hesitant about this conversation, and but I think part of me is, yeah, if this can, like you say, model further what an individual can do, then it's worth it to me.
And I also want to highlight in that conversation with Jake and Theory that there are a couple of themes in there that came out that were so powerful from both of their sides, that could be relevant in this, or there could be other threads to explore. Because it's not just about modeling, it's also about the nature of that reciprocal relationship. And from Theory's side, she explained how they're not looking for pity or just one-way support. They're looking for solidarity, for people that understand they're going through a particularly difficult time, but they're trying to manage themselves, and they just want to feel not so alone. They just, there's a lot that morale can do. And Theory talked extensively about how it wasn't just the material support, it was what the morale meant. It was that Jake didn't just give money, but Jake had to have the volition to give money, and then he had to remember it and go to his computer, and then he had to log in and put all the credentials in, and then he had to make the transfers and get in touch with people. And that whole process was an intention, a sustained intention over a period of time, and then repeated several different iterations, that was a sign that I really do care about this. And to her, that was what really stood out. It boosted the morale. It was, on days that, on particularly bad days and hopeless and depressed situations, hey, this guy cares about me. And as Theory would say it, not only does this guy care about me, but she would then tell her family and her friends and her colleagues and her other activists, there's this guy I haven't even met, and he's supporting me, and he's supporting all of us, and he believes in us. And that would kind of uplift everyone's morale in some situations, that they had this this kind of guardian angel that was there with them, but not from a place of pity or one-way giving, but as a place of wanting to see a friend do well that was having a hard time, and being there with them. And from Jake's side, he shared later in the episode this extraordinary admission that he was a recovering addict, and that part of his journey to sobriety was to, because part of addiction is a very selfish act, that it's giving back, and it's making a connection, and it's helping someone else out, and that's on his road to recovery. So this was actually also in his interest. And I think anyone who's had a Buddhist practice well understands that the act of giving, or the act of generosity, you're the first beneficiary. That by being able to cultivate these feelings of warmth and generosity and kindness and detachment, and giving in your own mind, you're the first beneficiary of those good feelings. And that's what Jake also knew. So I just want to bring out those themes, which may or may not be as relevant in this particular dynamic, but to kind of break down a more simple framing, that it's just someone with privilege giving to someone without privilege, because it's so much more than that, and it's so much beyond the material sense of what this means in forming a community and a bond and this shared humanity.
I guess to add to what you've said, Joa, I think personally, I mean, I'm married to a wonderful wife, and have two healthy, young, happy children. I feel absolutely blessed, but um, I guess if I just have to ask myself, the place that I've been to for a brief amount of time, but it had an impact on my life. I enjoyed that. I look back at the time I spent in Myanmar fondly, and it was a great learning experience from a work point of view and a personal point of view. And I guess it's just that thing of I ask myself, what can I do? I'm in a situation where two young kids and a job and everything else, like a job I'm very happy to go to and everything else, but I'm not in a situation, well, not even if there weren't the horrific, there wasn't the horrific situation in Myanmar at the moment. I'm not in a situation where I can travel all that easily. What can I do as an individual? And I think is what I keep asking myself, or what I kept asking myself. And this was the opportunity that I thought I'd take up. It's like you say, it's solidarity. It's I hope the absolute best for your country, little activist. And I really hope that it does end, as soon as it can. And that it gets more international attention. I mean, there's all these things, there's all these aspects to it that it's like everything else in Myanmar. It's complicated, but it's a great place and filled with amazing people. And yeah, I just hope wish the absolute best, and hope that it can be resolved, because it's awful. It's awful, and it's not in it's not in the media here. It's very frustrating. Like you say, airstrikes and things. It's unbelievable from the other side of the world that this is happening. Yeah, it's what I can do as an individual. If I can give you a little bit of resources and a little bit of, like you say, like a little bit of love, then that's a small thing I can do.
Yes, yes. Actually, this not small. It's very big. Uh, solidarity to me, to us, to the country of Myanmar people. So, I just want to say thank you, brother Ben. and please keep
Absolutely, and thank
supporting.
you for your and thank
Yeah,
you for your good work that you're doing.
yeah, thank you, my pleasure. And please keep reading, listening about our country, Myanmar condition, and also thank you to Inside Myanmar because they have been working for Myanmar many years ago. I just feel like, oh, oh my God, another country, another nation, another people, who they were also having people like you and Ben. It was like, how to express in English? I'm not sure. In Myanmar, it was called Sedana. 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 Do you know how to express Sedana in English? It was like helping others with their own, and uh, actually it was none of your own business. Myanmar's condition is not your own business, but you guys just doing good for our country, Myanmar, our country's revolutionary movement. It was like your Sidana. Sidana is Burmese word, and I'm sorry, I cannot express Sidana in English. So I just feel your Sidana, and I feel thankful for your action and for your love. Thank you so much.
You're absolutely welcome.
And that's a beautiful note to end on. I really appreciate both of you taking the time to. I know it's not. It's. I know this support came from a place of pure volition, and that there could be a discomfort in highlighting it. And I thank you so much for seeing the greater good that this modeling can do. That this positive reinforcement to stir others to think in their own way, in their own special way, in their own special thought, to what way they can think about a way to make a connection. And really, because at the end of the day, to me, it's about the shared humanity in whatever form it takes. It's about something greater than ourselves. And it feels good on both sides of the relationship when that's able to happen. And I thank both of you so much for being able to showcase and speak openly about um, uh, your own decisions and connections and where this has led, and to be able to bring that out for our greater public to learn from and be inspired by.
Yes, thank you too. Thank you so much too for your podcast, and this podcast created by you. So I just feel thankful to you, and also the brother band maybe also thankful to you. And actually, the connection between me and brothers band, it's because of you, because you just called it for the podcast last few months ago, and I just did that podcast, and Mr. Ben, brother Ben, just get in touch with our podcast. So you are the main person in our relation, and you are also doing very very great work for our country, for the world. So thankful to you, and God bless you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you to both of you, and I guess I need to also acknowledge, yeah, Joe. I think I said before, but yeah, the platform that you create, that you've created, that enables this to happen. There's no, I mean, this is as grassroots as it gets. I think in terms of um, donating the resources, and giving it directly to someone. It's a unique thing. So thank you.
Well, thank you, and I thank you both for that. And I just want to add that we see, I see personally from my background, communication when it happens, it's a miracle. It's transformative. Communication can change lives, and my background is training, and training is all about creating safe spaces where risky conversation can happen and can open up and can flourish. This is a conversation now between the three of us, intimate setting between us three, but there's a fourth chair where we have left out for the invisible listener to come and sit and join us. And that invisible fourth listener has been staying with us during the course of this experience, and has been reflecting and chewing and digesting and bringing in the nature of this conversation to involve themselves and their background experience and their thoughts into it. And that's the power of conversation. It's the power of communication when we open ourselves up to both sharing when it's risky and listening when it's uncomfortable. And that's the way that conversation can change lives, and the way that we've seen conversation change lives in not just information and engagement, but also in opening up and stepping forward and involvement and being part of. And so I thank you both for the nice words that you've said about our platform. And I just want to provide that added bit of information that I see it, I hope it as something that's greater than any one person and any one thing, and that is kind of bowing down at this noble altar of the act of communication, the miracle of connection and conversation, and that this is one more thread in that tapestry that we're trying to weave that certainly encompasses Myanmar, and Myanmar is the main topic, but is doing so in a way that welcomes this pure act of conversing and connecting with someone as we've all done here.
Yes, and actually, this conversation, this podcast, make me feel very happy and very glad. So thank you for this 1 hour for you two, both Ben and Inside Myanmar brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you both for the conversation, and keep safe, little activist. Yeah.
Yes, hope to see you guys after a few weeks or few months again, and I will keep posting our country's condition to the world through Telegram and Twitter and now X by Elon Musk. You know, after possessing by Elon Musk, the Twitter is not good. We cannot post with hashtag, yeah, because Elon Musk new Twitter X banned the hashtag, so it is very hard to share more information. It is a new problem in Twitter because of the Elon Musk. I don't know why he banned the hashtag, because most of our training, like what's happening in Myanmar and January 4 coup, like that, war crimes for Myanmar military terrorists, like that kind of hashtag are banning in Twitter, and we cannot use publicity. So sad.
For whatever reason, even as the conflict in Myanmar continues to worsen, it somehow continues to be shut out of the Western media news cycle. And even when the foreign media does report on the conflict, it's often presented as a reductionist, simplistic caricature that inhibits a more thorough understanding of the situation. In contrast, our podcast platform endeavors to portray a much more authentic, detailed, and dynamic reality of the country and its people, one that nurtures deeper understanding and nuanced appreciation. Not only do we ensure that a broad cross-section of ideas and perspectives from Burmese guests regularly appear on our platform, but we also try to bring in foreign experts, scholars, and allies who can share from their experience as well. But we can't continue to produce at this consistency and at the level of quality we aim for without your help. If you would like to join in our mission to support those in Myanmar who are being impacted by the military coup, we welcome your contribution in any form, currency, or transfer method. Your donation will go on to support a wide range of humanitarian and media missions, aiding those local communities who need it most. Donations are directed to such causes as the Civil Disobedience Movement, CDM, families of deceased victims, internally displaced person IDP camps, food for impoverished communities, military defection campaigns, undercover journalists, refugee camps, monasteries and nunneries, education initiatives, the purchasing of protective equipment and medical supplies, COVID relief, and more. We also make sure that our donation fund supports a diverse range of religious and ethnic groups across the country. We invite you to visit our website to learn more about past projects, as well as upcoming needs. You can give a general donation or earmark your contribution to a specific activity or project you would like to support, perhaps even something you heard about in this very episode. All of this humanitarian work is carried out by our nonprofit mission, Better Burma. Any donation you give on our Insight Myanmar website is directed towards this fund. Alternatively, you can also visit the Better Burma website, betterburma.org, and donate directly there. In either case, your donation goes to the same cause, and both websites accept credit card. You can also give via PayPal by going to paypal.me/betterburma. Additionally, we can take donations through Patreon, Venmo, GoFundMe, and Cash App. Simply search Better Burma on each platform and you'll find our account. You can also visit either website for specific links to these respective accounts or email us at info@betterburma.org. That's Better Burma, one word, spelled BETTERBURMA.org. If you would like to give it another way, please contact us. We also invite you to check out our range of handicrafts that are sourced from vulnerable artisan communities across Myanmar, available at alokacrafts.com. Any purchase will not only support these artisan communities, but also our nonprofit's wider mission. That's Aloka Crafts, spelled ALOKACRAFTS, one word, alokacrafts.com. Thank you so much for your kind consideration and support.
Kaya unya na dadu ya dalam dari gane zada mana we kada besaya na besaya hoba yarana da yarana ngana yarana ya da yarana boda ba yarana